Okay, so if you're on the FBI's Most Wanted, you may want to change your screen name and your, turn off your camera or whatever. If you would like. Okay, so before we get into this, does anybody have any specific questions that I can answer right at the beginning here? Something that's occurred to you while you were trying to get in? Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I think first is I'll go ahead and share the screen. And see, I guess we don't need to know about tropical storm. Okay, so this is hopefully, if somebody could just let me know, are you seeing the screen with the solar PV training? Okay, I see Nathan nodding his head. All right, so yeah, this is the entry screen for the course. Now, all of you should have received an email that asks you to go ahead and create an account, a password. If you haven't, let me know. Check your spam. It's possible it gets in there. So before we jump through some hoops, each of you is registered in the class, but you've got to log in. You've got to create an account and log in. Now, the easiest way I've found is when you pull up, the site is solarpvtraining.com, and you can access this through any computer, any tablet, any phone. It's just a general web access. You would come here under online courses, and then right down here, the last option is log in. I'm already logged in. So if you click on your profile, it's going to show you that you're logged in. If I go ahead and log out here, it should boot me out. And now you would come in for the first time, and it would just have an option here that says Solar Noon Tuesday. I'll let you know about that in a second. Then there's log in. So you just click on log in, and then once you've logged in once, it'll remind you, it'll keep track of that. But you'll just put in your username, which is typically going to be your email address, whatever password you've created. It's going to say, I'm not a robot. And then you're going to go ahead and log in. Now that you're logged in, when you go to the online courses page, you're going to see that there are a couple of classes here. You're enrolled in this one, the Residential Installation and Design course. I've also enrolled you in the Solar Generator course. And then you're also enrolled in this Navigating Our Courses. So those are the three courses that you should show up where it just says enrolled on your screen. It'll be just like this one, enrolled. And then once you're enrolled in that, you just click on the tile or continue studying. So if I click on this image, then it will take me into the class. And here's all the various lessons that are part of the class. So if you want to expand each section here, chapter 1, Introduction to Photovoltaics, and these green check marks will appear when you've finished that section. If you jump into the first one, you just click on that, and it will bring you into a PowerPoint type slide. Now, each of these sections, I've put a time, how long the narration goes on in each of these. So if you're studying, you're doing it on your own, and you come to a section that's like 45 minutes long or something, and you say, well, I only have about 10 minutes. I don't think I'm going to start this one. So it should give you a sense of how long this is, what a commitment this is. Now, you can, when you click on the advance button here, you should hear the narration. 10 years, solar okay? So you can hear the in installation capacity. You can pause that narration up here with this button. If you're not hearing it, then sometimes it's the browser. This is a problem that appears and disappears somewhat randomly. So if you're looking at it on, say, Google Chrome, and you're not hearing the narration, You might try it in Microsoft Edge or something like that. Just give it another shot, see if that's the issue. One annoying fix that always fixes it regardless is back up a slide and then advance again, and it will start playing. But you'll have to go back and forth on every slide, which is annoying. Hopefully this isn't going to be an issue, but occasionally we've run into that. So here you can control the volume, you can pause it, you can play it. It will walk through what's on this slide. And then on many of the slides, there's this area up here that just says deeper dive. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the subject that's been going on here in this slide, you can click up here and it will take you into a video that goes a little bit deeper into whatever that is. It's not part of the linear course, but sometimes it's very helpful to get that information as you're moving forward, especially when you get into some concepts like resistance or amperage or something like that you may not be familiar with. You're getting introduced to the term, but you want to understand it a little bit deeper. There's a video there that'll help you. And you can just jump into the next one, turning off that because I've heard myself speak long enough that it's annoying. And so then you can just walk through these. Once you get to the end, it's interesting to see that once it's at the end of the slide, it'll just stop, at which point you would click down here where it says next topic. And normally I've given you an auditory, an audio clue that you're at the end of the section. It's like if there's another slide coming at the end of the narration, there'll be a little clicker sound, almost like one of those toys that a kid has that goes like that, and it'll tell you to advance the slide. But when you get to the end of this, it'll go. We're just trying to. I'll let it play here. Production because it's too expensive to shut down. See, you'll just hear the little ding, like an elevator ding. That tells you you're at the end of this particular lesson. So just a couple of things just so that you don't, hopefully it's helpful. And then you can move on to the next topic here, or you can go over here, all of these things. Then once you've gone down through this, all of your lessons within this chapter, and these chapters do correspond in order with the material in the book. So I would recommend that you follow along in the book, and you can use the book to make notes. But what I'm doing in these slides is simply highlighting what's in the book. And I'll also just ask everybody to send me a mailing address where I can mail you a paper copy of the textbook. Okay, that's part of the class. You've got an electronic copy. Hopefully you've gotten that email and you've uploaded the electronic version. But if you're like me, I much prefer to have a paper copy I can make notes on and dog-ear pages and whatever. Maybe it's showing my age, but either way, I much prefer having paper. So you'll have both. You'll have both available to you. Then you'll find, for instance, there are some labs in here. This little item here is a lab. This lab is designed just to walk you through how to use the online National Electric Code resource. So in this case, you'll just follow through. It will ask you certain questions. It will link you in. Pretty self-explanatory. There may be a quiz associated with it just to help you with that. And then at the end of the chapter, there is a review quiz. So it'll say, in this case, this is very introductory, converting energy from sun to light to electricity is known as, say, photovoltaics. I think I've got to move your images, and then it'll say check. And it will give you the correct answer. It will also give you a page reference. So if you're looking up in the book, you can look at that. And then you'll just keep going. The cost where it's the same from the electric company is going to be grid parity, so on and so forth. And you'll just walk through, you'll get correct. In order for this to be checked off that you've completed this chapter, you've got to get an 80% on each of these quizzes. You can take it as many times as you want, but it's not going to mark that you're done with the chapter until you've gotten to that. Sometimes with some of the questions, I don't know if there's one here. You can make money by selling Rex. Sometimes I've got additional information in the answer. I've incorporated some videos that explain why this is the correct answer. So once you've gone through all of this, let's see, I'll just answer a bunch of, it's only about 10 years old. Yeah, I guess I can't. Net metering requires that you're allowed to sell excess. If I purposefully answer one of them wrong, the photovoltaic effect, the answer occurs when light is collected into electricity. So I'll mark that as wrong. And then it'll give you a red outline. It'll say, nope, you were wrong. This is the correct answer. And so on and so forth. Photons. I just wanted to get to the end of this so that 3 scientists from Bell Labs. I don't know how many questions are in this section, but electrons. And here's an example of a video that's incorporated in the answer that if you want to watch it, it's there to help you. Who's largely Antoine Becquerel. And state determines its renewable portfolio standard. Systems own is it distributed. And these things should be randomized. So if you take it multiple times, it's going to give you different questions in different orders, or it'll be the same question, but it'll be just in a different sequence. Of course, there's more here than I thought. I thought I could just jump through there quickly. P70. I'm going to get to the end here. Duck curve. And these questions are at the end of each chapter as well. So, so these correspond with the questions that are in the back of the book. I'm gonna get, okay, we're at the end here. So then it's going to tabulate your results, and it'll just say, I got 21 out of 23, so you passed. And then just click here to continue, and it'll jump you into the next chapter. Okay, so are there any questions about just navigating the course here once you're in it?
Hey, Jay. Oh, never mind. Sorry, Greg.
Oh, you can go ahead. Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
Can you show us on how to do the labs again?
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, that lab is more of an informational lab, but let's say a solar panel lab here. It's a lot like a quiz from a structure, but in this particular lab, it's showing you a spec sheet on the module, and then it's just going to ask you a quiz. Okay, who's the manufacturer of this panel would be an example. And now you got to look up here, and oh, by the way, it's SunSpark, but it's just, how do you read these in this particular case, the spec sheet. Where is it manufactured? You're going to have to look through it, and somewhere in here it's going to tell you. So it really is just a quiz, but some of them are structured differently. The one that was in the first chapter here, the NEC one, it actually jumps you in. It shows how this works, and how you log into it. And then it's going to ask you to go ahead in a different window and go ahead and walk through these steps. Register on this website, link in, and then just to make sure that you linked in properly, then the quiz is going to ask you certain things like, which section talks about maximum voltage. So online, you're going to look that up and you're going to answer it. So this one is a little bit different, but it just shows you how you would link into that website. This is a really handy tool, and one reason I incorporated it, because otherwise you're going to have to spend $70-80 for a copy of the National Electrical Code, or you can just go in and register and use it online as a reference tool, and it's free. So you may as well get yourself familiar with that. Did that answer your question there, Nathan?
Yeah.
Okay, it is just like a quiz. Craig, you had a question?
I did. Thank you. So I've been doing sort of self-study in the hard copy of the book, and wasn't really aware of this course requirement, which is fine because probably need to review it anyway. But I think what you're saying is in order to get the certificate, I need to complete with a check mark each of the lessons on the website. And
yeah, you mean for the certification? Is that what you're going after? Yeah, there are actually 3 different components to the ETA certification. One of them is to have completed 40 hours of approved training, of which this will be. I mean, this qualifies. So once you've gone through this and gotten all the check marks, as you say, that meets that qualification. ETA also has some hands-on requirements that an approved proctor has to walk you through and observe you completing certain hands-on tasks. When we get together for the lab, that is designed to meet that requirement. So on the day that we do the lab, you will have done all of the hands-on requirements that ETA requires as part of the certification. Then the third part is you have to take and pass the certification examination. And that's what we'll do also during our face-to-face meeting. And that the cost of that certification exam, which is $155, is included in the cost of this course. So there's not an additional charge. It's built into it. So this course is designed to get you through all 3 of the component pieces to become industry certified by ETA. So there's the lecture portion, which you're going to do self-paced online, the hands-on, which you'll do when we get together for our face-to-face sessions, and then the certification exam, which you can take, and I would recommend you take it when we get together for our hands-on. We'll do it on the second day. Or if you can't do that day, if you've got to leave, you can only come in for the hands-on. You can take that through an online proctor through ETA. So there is that option, although it costs you an extra $14, but that's not usually a big deal to people.
Great. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you so much.
Okay, and then your certification is valid for a period of 4 years. There is a continuing education requirement to renew it. And you have to take 6 hours of solar related training, every year for the 4 years. So 24 hours over the course of that 4-year period. Now, one of the things that I've done is, let me see, if I jump back out, just looking for seeing how I get my main menu. Yeah. Remember up here under online courses, I have this link that says Solar Noon Tuesday. So every week, except I'm taking the month of August off for this, but every week normally throughout the year, we hold a Zoom session at noon on Tuesdays, noon Eastern time. And we cover a specific topic. We go through the news of the day, or the news of the week in solar, but then I focus on a specific topic. So here are some of the past sessions, like understanding how batteries work in your system, NFPA 8855 and what that means with battery-based systems, what's the state of the market. So these show you just solar cell efficiency changes. So whatever happens to be big in the news that particular week, I try and focus on it. Usually these get-togethers last about 45 minutes, maybe a full hour. During the next 6 weeks, it's the hour just before we're getting together for this class or this Zoom thing. So you might want to participate. But these sessions have been approved by ETA as meeting 30 minutes of continuing education credits. So you could get your full 24 hours just by, mind-numbingly sitting through 48 of these sessions, and it will generate a certificate for you after you've finished this particular. So if I wanted to say, like cybersecurity and solar, it's going to jump in and it's going to go to the course content. It's very similar to what we do here. And then it's just simply going to post, a video, and you're going to watch that video. And when you're done, right? And then after I've left that course, in fact, it's just now sent me an email. My system has sent me an email saying, hey, you've completed this course. You've been in this course. And it sent me a certificate of completion, and it also sent a copy of it to ETA. So you don't even have to really file that. So that's just a way of getting your continuing education for free. But if you participate, that'd be great too, because it's a good way to keep current. And it's just on lunch on Tuesdays.
One more question on that front. Is our access to the website through the course, does it expire at the completion of the course?
No, I'll keep you on for at least a year.
Okay.
And if you want longer, just let me know. I mean, it doesn't cause me any problems to just keep you in there, as long as you care to. And, in some aspects too, I update these things. Next year, my plan, we're going to do a complete rewrite of the book that you're studying from right now. I try and make sure I do that every 3 years or so after the National Electrical Code comes out, because this industry is changing so much that we really have to keep modifying it just to stay current. But the online course will change as well, and you'll have access to that changed course. So I'll just say that that's a nice thing if you're wanting to go back in and just see what's been updated.
Great, thank you.
Sure. I'd recommend when you do come into this, come down here to navigating our courses and go into that first. That gives you all the step-by-step about how to use the system. I've touched on some of it, but not everything. So go into that course. It takes 18 minutes, and it'll just help you walk through how the course works. And I think if anybody is, I know that one of the folks from West Virginia was going to be a potential instructor. If you want, I can turn on this managing your course. Oh, Nathan, you're the instructor.
Yeah, it's me, Jay.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I can turn this one on for you as well. And that just shows you the back end, because you can manage all the students, see when they've completed a course, how many times they took the quiz, how long it took them to take the quiz. You can make essay assignments in there. You can do a whole lot of stuff within this program. If you're familiar with learning platforms, this is in LearnDash. So LearnDash is just the software that is the learning management system.
It looks very similar to what I'm already using.
Okay, good. Yeah, and maybe, I don't know if you're using Blackboard or one of those things or whatever. I don't know, but this is a very nice web-based system. I'll also point out here, Quizlet. If you're not familiar with Quizlet, it's a nice little tool you can link in over on the right-hand side, and it's a study guide, especially when you're getting ready to take the certification exam. I would use that. It's like a flashcard thing, or you can set up with games to just go through all of the quizzes that are in the book, and it will just help you study. So it's available there. It's free. Just take advantage of it, when you're reviewing. for the certification exam. So those are some tools. And then this course here, building a solar generator, is thrown in there just for fun for you guys. It's a 1-hour video, but I always like to say that these solar generators are like the gateway drug to solar. You know, you can make your own solar generator, and it's in fact, I just finished up 4 units that we're going to have in the West Virginia lab there, and they're super nice, really, really neat. You can make one for about $250 or so, and they're real sweet. So they give you a lot of knowledge about standalone systems. It's basically a standalone solar system in a box. So all the bits are just a little bit bigger if you're talking about a house, but that's one that you can go through. That course is available to you. All right. As I said, we're running through several courses at the same time. So I just want to reiterate the dates that we're getting together. Marietta, for those of you in Marietta, Ohio, it's going to be September 23rd and 24th. The West Virginia class, 28th and 29th, that's a Thursday and Friday. Hiram, 7th and 8th of October, so that's a Saturday and Sunday. And then the Dayton one I didn't write down, but let me see that. I'm probably still sharing my screen here. You guys get to see everything I've got to do. 14th and 15th. So that may or may not take place. We'll just have to wait and see. So either way, we'll get you into a course there. I showed the screen, talked about the textbook. Yeah, if you could send me your physical address, I'll mail you a paper textbook. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. You should have the electronic version. That's fine. The nice thing about the electronic version is it is searchable. You know, you can just go in there and type in a word, and it's going to take you to whatever page that word appears on. So if you're trying to find something like about rapid shutdown systems or whatever, type in rapid shutdown, boom, you've got all the references right there. You don't have to play around with an index. And as I mentioned, each week I will go ahead and email you a reminder. And as part of that reminder, I'll tell you where you should be in the course at that point. And then I'll give you the video links for not only the session that took place before, but I've got video sessions we've done in the past where we review the chapter. So rather than each week we get together, I'm not going to go through the quiz and say, here's the answer to question 1, here's the answer to question 2. Those videos already exist and you can review those on your own. What I hope we can do in these weekly sessions is actually, if you've run into difficulty in the course, or just have questions about how this thing particularly works or whatever, we can have that discussion, you know, so that you're not feeling lost as you move forward. So that's really the hope for these weekly sessions. And you don't have to wait until Tuesday to ask your question. You can send me an email throughout the week. If we need to, we can have a phone conversation or a Zoom conversation, you know, at your convenience, because I don't want you to get frustrated because a concept doesn't make sense to you and you can't continue on, you know. So now if you're calling me at 11 o'clock at night, I'm not going to answer, but you know, you can you know, within reason, let's try and make sure we get these questions answered. I'll just give you fair warning. There's an awful lot of information here to try and absorb. And the first couple of chapters, dead easy, right? Really simple. Their background information, their foundational information, especially if you've got some electrical background, you get into the basic electricity, it's quite simple. If you have none, that might be a little challenge, just understanding the difference between watts and amps and volts and resistance and things like that. But we're not getting deep into this stuff. This is very much an introductory type course. And it's supposed to be very practical. The things that I'm trying to teach you through this course are designed to help you actually design and install a system. You know, it's not the theoretical basis of how photovoltaics works. There's a little bit of that, but it's more, how do I hook this thing up and not die? You know, how do I hook this up and actually it works? You know, what are my system options? Why would I pick this piece of equipment over a different piece of equipment? That kind of stuff, you know, hopefully very practical approach to this thing. So that's where we're coming from. But as you get into the designing, when you start getting into chapter 5, 6, 7, chapter 7 especially, when it all comes together, you know, all the foundational stuff, now you've actually got to design a system, and that can be a little bit overwhelming to folks. So I don't want you to feel that way. Just understand it's going to feel a little bit overwhelming when you get in there, and just, you know, muscle on through it. That's the way you learn this stuff. You know, and if you've got a question, contact me. You know, we'll try and work that thing out. None of this is particularly difficult. There's just a lot of it. You know, each step, and you don't need to know trigonometry or anything like that. It's just the maths in here is multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Pretty straightforward. Any questions at all as to the structure here, or anything that's already a question or concern? No. Everybody's quiet. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop the share here, and I think I mean, one of my goals as well is not to keep people on Zoom calls any 1 minute longer than you have to be. So if nobody has any questions, we'll just call it a day, and then we'll get together next Monday. Not next Monday, next Tuesday at 1 o'clock, and we'll just do this every week until your class. All right.
All right. See you then.
Okay.
Sounds
Take care.
good.
Bye bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.